Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hey everybody, Q&A the Nerd here, and I have a hardware review for you this week. And this is a little thing that I got for my birthday just last week. So it was ideal timing really for my hardware review this week. I was planning to do something else, but that can wait, and you'll have to wait and see what that is, because I've now got this to do instead. And as you can see, it is Data East Hits, My Arcade Pixel Player. So as it says here, 8 Data East plus 300 games. So over 300 games on the unit to play. And a portable gaming system featuring 8 Data East classics. So it already proclaims on the front, you see there's Caveman Ninja, Bad Dudes, Burger Time, and there's Karate Champ on the screen. So the Data East thing already, you think, oh, that's pretty cool. Who doesn't love Data East? They made some great arcade games over the years. So we've got on the back all the usual different languages, features, packed with 300 retro games plus 8 memorable Data East titles. Full colour screen, 8-bit game system. Front speaker with volume control, headphone jack, powered by batteries or micro USB not included, and a user guide. Wonderful. So I have already opened this, but we will... take a look. This is good though. Look, the flap at the front lifts up, so you can take a look inside. So there you go. You can already see there what it looks like. It comes with this sticker on the screen, which I stuck back on to get the impression. So it has this kind of blocky design. You'll see a bit more of that in a minute. And on the top of the flap here, it says what the games are. So you've got Bad Dudes, Caveman Ninja, Burger Time, Karate Champ, Heavy Barrel, Breakthrough, Side Pocket, and Boogie Wings. So there's the all the Data East games. And it's got other things like the fact that they're a Californian company. They've got a website and Twitter and all that. 0 to 3 Sad Onions. All the usual stuff. So, yeah, as I said, I have already opened it and have already played it. So I already know what it's like. But let's have a gander. So, here we go inside the box. I'll put the box at the back there. This is the rather pointless user guide. Shows you how to put the batteries in and such like. You don't really need it because it's incredibly easy to work out everything without using that. So in here we have just our usual generic plastic case. Stick that to the side as well. So you can see the handheld. Let's take this back off the screen again so you can see when I go to turn it on. And so there we go. We've got A and B buttons. We've got start and reset up here. Not select, start and reset. Up, down, left, right. Joypad, of course. Speaker. There's your AV out. You can actually connect it to a TV. You don't get that lead with it though. There's your headphone jack. These are the volumes, the plus and minus ones. There's your power in, 5 volts, just use a mobile phone charger or whatever. On off switch, and in really old school fashion, it takes 6 batteries like the old Atari Lynx and Sega Game Gear did. And now I can't even get that one off. And it's very familiar with the Sega Game Gear, because if you remember the Game Gear, sorry, it takes 4, not 6. The Game Gear, you had to put the batteries on each side, didn't you? And you do with this. Yeah, it takes 4 AAAs, quite a lot of batteries. I was quite surprised, because usually these handhelds these days, they take 2 if you need to put batteries in. I've even come across things that only take 1. But yeah, this one takes 4, so it does need quite a few. But you can get a pack from Poundland, a massive pack, which will last you ages, so not really an issue too much, to be honest. It does make it a bit heavier though, but it's really light. It's actually quite flimsy plastic. I'll go into that in a bit more detail, but the plastic is pretty flimsy. It actually looks like it would be really uncomfortable to hold because of these square edges, but they have actually been rounded slightly, so don't dig in, and it's actually not that uncomfortable. I was expecting it to be terrible, so I was pleasantly surprised that it was more comfortable than I expected. So there we go. Let's turn up the volume a bit. So there it says 308 in 1, and some nice music. And there's our 8 Data East games as advertised, and then it goes into all sorts of randomness. Now, these are games that appear on lots of other Famiclone units. I have previously reviewed this little thing, just to go for a minute, this Retro Games controller, tiny little joystick thing which you can plug directly into your TV. And I did a review of this, same with the start and reset buttons, and it was just full of these, well, it's a Famiclone, but it was full of these strange, probably Chinese programmed games, many of which were blatant copies of existing games, while some were just sort of really simple little sports games and the like. But anyway, I'll stick up a link in the top corner at the moment, actually, so if you do want to have a look at this to compare, you can do, because these are ridiculously cheap to pick up now. They can be had, I've seen them actually for like a £5. So yeah, if you are intrigued, then follow that link, and we'll get back to the handheld. So yeah, a lot of these are exactly the same games that appear on that, with these wonderful names like Thunderman. See, Vanguard was one actually I did play in that my review of the other thing, and it was actually really good. It was a really good sort of tank game. It was probably one of the best games I played on it. Curly Monkey, lots of swimming games, Butterfly Stroke, amusement parks, Chinese checkers, dominoes. There's a lot of like recreations of or existing sort of simple board games and the like. Hero Mice and Heroes Mice 2, brilliant. The sequel, Homing Chicken. Some of the names for these games are just hilarious. Mike Pig, that has to be one of my favourite. Don't get excited, Outrun is not Outrun. What else we got? Unusual Space, Worm Dream. Girl, brilliant. What a name that is, Girl. We'll have a look at the games in a minute. I just wanted to go through and show you the list. Guard Radish, one of my favourites there. All-time classic, Guard Radish. Seething. You'll be seething if you play some of these games, I can tell you, because some of them are bloody awful. Dejectile. That one always made me laugh because it sounded like it's something they're trying to, some sort of cream they're trying to sell on TV. Probably advertised by Pele or something like that, if you get what I mean. Fated Pirate. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Happy Match. Jump Jump. Lattice Winner. A winning lattice. Probably sponsored by Greg's, that game. Meccano. That made me laugh. They've called a game Meccano as well. But as you know what Meccano is. Police Dog, also known as Police Dog Lassie or Lassie, which is one of the ones that always appears on these handhelds. Rabbit Village, which if I remember rightly is a rip-off of Pooh Yan, is actually quite good. And Seawolf, Utmost Warfare, Vigilant, that was a shoot 'em up. I don't remember playing that one. Wild Worm, Burrow Explorer, Hallyhoo, Frantic Mouse, good old goalkeeper there, Primitive Man, River Jump, Racing Fighter, Pobble, nice, Undersea Arena, Abscondy, Agile Mice. They've got a thing about mice, you might have noticed. They quite seem to like putting mice in their games, these Chinese people. I'm not really sure. Shrew Mouse, I love that name. Is it a shrew? Is it a mouse? No, it's Shrew Mouse. Benthel, Blobman, Cowpoke. I don't recommend poking cows. Mouse Hero, see, there's an obsession with mice is continuing there. Panda, Revenger Flyer, Slapjack. Billiard, not billiards, billiard 1, singular billiard. Cobra of Sky. Edacity Snakes. There's actually quite a few snake games on here. They milked that theme a little bit on this. Not that I've played all of them, but I've come across quite a few from some of the ones I've played. Tactful Monkey, the Farmer. And there we go, the last game being X Racing. So, what I actually wanted to show you is how these games play. Now, let's put a bit of Burger Time on first. This is probably the game I've played more than any other on here. So you have to press the start button to play them. And let's have a look so you can see. So yes, all of the Data East games are the NES/Famicom versions. They are not the arcade conversions, which actually makes it a little bit misleading, because obviously it says on the front that it's My Arcade, when it's clearly not My Arcade. It is My Famiclone is probably, you know, a more accurate name for it, because they are all the NES Famicom versions, disappointingly. But so far so good. I mean, you play Burger Time. This is the first game I play when I put it on, and there's immediately nothing wrong. The only thing that is wrong is that you might have just spotted there. I was frantically pressing the joypad and it was doing nothing, because it does that. It just randomly, while you're playing, just doesn't work, and I have no idea why, and it's very, very frustrating. It's not very responsive anyway. It's extremely stiff, and yeah, the unresponsiveness issue just comes and goes. Every now and again you'll be holding it down and it'll just completely stop working, and you have no idea why it's completely stopped working, but it has. See, and then I had to keep pressing it there to keep on moving. It is very annoying. And then I'm trying to move and it's not doing anything again. And on a game like Burger Time, where you have to keep moving or you die, it's unbelievably frustrating, the issue with the joypad. The buttons actually are fine, although admittedly on Burger Time you don't have to use them very much, so oh, I swear I pressed it then. I was just saying about the buttons actually are usually quite responsive. And there's a case where the actual button wasn't responsive. It didn't do what I asked at all. I was determined that I was going to finish that level before I showed you anything else. So, yes, you think that's great. That seems alright. No issues with the hardware at all. Now, Side Pocket, you would think this would be a game that would have no issues. But now you'll start to see some issues, and Side Pocket is not a game that you'd expect to see issues on. So, most strange. And I'm hoping I better catch some film. And maybe I can't, because it's basically what I'm what I'm actually referring to is that there is actually some really bad screen tearing on Side Pocket and some other games, and I'm not sure that you could particularly see it there, to be honest. To be fair, it doesn't really affect Side Pocket, so it's not really much of an issue with, you know, it being a single screen game where, you know, you're not worried about the scrolling or anything. What else can we see? There's bad dudes at the top, isn't it? Bad dudes is Dragon Ninja. I keep forgetting you have to press start for it to. Perhaps it was this game where it was more noticeable. I know there was a few games that I played where the screen tearing was horribly noticeable. So perhaps this was one of them. It probably was this actually, because obviously Bad Dudes does actually have scrolling, so yes, it is Bad Dudes. The screen tears up horribly. I'm hoping that the camera is picking up just how horribly the screen is tearing up as it's scrolling. I mean, you can still play it, but it's really hard on the eyes, the way that screen is tearing up from top to bottom as it scrolls. It's really bad. Really awful how much that screen is tearing. I'm a bit of a sucker for Bad Dudes vs Dragon Ninja. It's a game that I know isn't very good, but I really like it because I'm a fan of old school beat 'em ups. So probably going to get done by Karloff here because I'm not really playing it properly. So let's have a look at something else. Reset. So I seem to remember it's bad on Boogie Wings as well. So let's stick another Data East one on. And then I'll show you the quality of some of the other games. Quality is a word I use lightly, to be honest. Okay, let's pause. So yes, you'll see some of the screen tearing on this as well. And on this game, it makes it very hard to see the enemy bullets when it starts tearing up. Especially when the screen is already small in the first place. But I'm sure you can definitely see it when I move from side to side like that, how badly the screen is tearing as I'm playing the game. So yeah, I think I've given you enough of an example there. I'll have a look at a couple more before I we'll leave it like Curly Monkeys. There you go, that'll do, won't it? That'll do. Nice title screen there though. So this is a kind of Mario game. Well, in fact, I suppose you could argue it's a rip-off of Toki. They've already died. Really bad screen tearing again there though. This one actually has some quite nice graphics though. Huh. I'm supposed to go there, am I? It says to go there. Okay, maybe not then. That's strange. Yeah, it definitely seems to have been inspired by Toki. That's actually not that terrible. There are games that are a lot worse than that on here. Right, let's have a look at UFO Race. That sounds like it's going to be bad. And it already looks like it's going to be bad, to be honest. Oh god, it looks awful. So what am I doing here? So press down, I change gear. This looks especially like another game that's been hacked. I'm not sure what game it is, but actually reminds me a little bit of those old LCD games you used to get. But they were quite limited, you know, you had to just keep Pass as many cars as you could. Incidentally, the B button doesn't seem to do a lot. Yeah, there we go. UFO Race. Space War. With a name that generic, it's got to be good. This looks like a hack of Exerion, is it? Yes, it definitely looks like they've ripped off Exerion. Interesting. Yes, so it looks like some of the games are actually hacks of existing NES games, which is quite interesting. Bounce. And Bounce is Mappy. So there we go. That is definitely Mappy. So it seems actually, despite they've got the official Data East licensing, a number of the games are in fact hacked versions of other people's games. Not all of them are, though. I mean, there are a lot that are actually original games that are just really bad. Here's Panda, which is some absolutely pants flick screen platform thing. Why it's not got scrolling, I'm not sure, but it's horrendous and the music is awful. What else can we have a look at before I switch this off and tell you my final thoughts? Lovely. Oh, so here we go. We've got a really, really bog standard Space Invaders ripoff. A really, really, really terrible one. I mean, look, the enemies don't even move barely at all. Oh God, this is horrendous and ridiculously easy. And where's the challenge in that? Oh God, so it's sped up slightly. Oh, that's yeah, remarkably bad, isn't it? What a terrible game. What Shrew Mouse? I bet it's another bloody snake game, isn't it? There's so many snake games on here. Yeah. What's this got to do with a mouse or a shrew? I have no idea. Oh, I messed it up and died. Well, there we go. So, just 8 Data East games when they could have probably had a lot more. Does seem a little stingy when the main selling point of it is the fact it is Data East hits. I'm pretty sure that Data East did a lot more than 8 games for the NES. So I think they could have got a lot more than 8 Data East games, and I think at least 20 would have been reasonable. And to be honest, they could have left off all the other guff if they'd have just filled it with Data East games. But I think the main point is that you're expecting, you know, the fact of being called My Arcade in Data East, you're expecting the arcade versions of the games, and you're not getting them. You're getting the NES versions of the games, and that seems to be a common theme. There's a lot of the mini arcade machines now, like there's a Double Dragon one and stuff like that, where they are advertising themselves as a mini arcade game, but in fact they have the NES version of Double Dragon on them, which is nothing like the arcade game and is quite frankly crap. So yes, it is a little misleading. The game selection, obviously, there's some quite good Data East stuff on there, mostly loads of other rubbish with a few other good little bits and pieces thrown in because there is some stuff that's hacks of other games. There's a particularly good Food Fight clone on there, but I can't remember what that's called. You saw some other stuff on there, obviously, you know, Mappy and the such like, and Exerion and hacks and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all to be said, really. Iffy quality. The build quality is not the greatest, as I said. Really flimsy, cheap plastic, quite rattly. The screen quality looks nice until it moves. You saw the awful screen tearing in a lot of the games. So the emulation is not particularly great, and I'm suggesting that the refresh rate is not particularly good. So unless you can pick one of these up for about a tenner, I don't really think it's worth buying. You're better off just buying, you know, an emulation handheld these days, like a PSP or something, and hacking that, or one of the other many kind of emulation handhelds that are out there now, because you can put NES and all sorts of other things on there. I would even argue that this is worse in terms of the build quality and stuff than the At Games handhelds, which have got a lot of stick over the years. There's good and bad ones. The Mega Drive one is particularly poor, but the Atari one is particularly good. So yeah, it's, yeah, as I say, okay little thing, I suppose. It'd keep the kids amused in the car for a car journey. So if you saw it for a tenner, it might be worth it. But I think anything more than that, it's not worth bothering with. So yeah, that's it really. I hope you enjoyed my review of the Data East Pixel player. I will also mention actually that I've since found out there is other versions of this. There is another version that plugs into the TV, which is a little bit like this. I forgot to mention that. And there is also a version that looks like a mini arcade machine. So there's other versions to look out for too, although I suggest that the quality of them is probably pretty similar. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again for another video very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.